I am 91 years old, and every single evening I place a plate on this table for someone who is never coming. Listen to that. You hear it? That little clink of porcelain on old wood. That's the loneliest sound in the world when there's no other noise in the house to cover it up. Just that one small tap echoing off the kitchen walls and dying somewhere in the hallway where nobody walks anymore. There's a chair at the corner of my kitchen table. Wooden, simple. Got a little crack running up one of the back legs from years of use. There's a folded napkin sitting in front of it right now. Clean, tucked neat. There's a fork and a knife laid out beside a glass that hasn't held water in longer than I can remember. A thin layer of dust sits on the seat because no one has pulled it out in years, not once. And every night, like some kind of fool, I set that place anyway. I smooth the napkin, I straighten the fork. I do it without thinking, because the day I stop is the day I admit what I already know. Nobody is coming. Now, if you're watching this and you think being surrounded by people means you are loved, I need you to sit down. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to save your life before you end up like me. 91 years old, 2 place settings, 1 heartbeat in the room. Let me tell you how I got here. I used to be the man everybody called, and I don't mean that in some small way. I mean everybody. Something breaks in your house at midnight? Call him. Need a ride to the hospital on a Tuesday morning? Call him. Short on rent? He'll cover it. Daughter's getting married and you need someone to organize the hall, set up the chairs, handle the caterer who didn't show. Call him. He'll fix it. He always does. That was me. For 40 years. That was me. I hosted Sunday dinners in this very kitchen. 12 people sometimes. I'd start cooking Saturday night. Roast chicken, potatoes, greens, biscuits from scratch. By noon on Sunday, this house smelled like heaven itself had a kitchen. I could hear the chairs scraping across the tile as people arrived, coats thrown over the couch, kids running through the hallway, laughter bouncing off every wall in this house until the whole place felt alive, full, important. And me? I stood at the head of that table feeling like a king. Not because of ego, because I believed something. I believed it in my bones. I believed that if they need me, they love me. That was my gospel. I thought a crowded table meant a full heart. I thought being indispensable meant being irreplaceable. I thought the fact that my phone never stopped ringing was proof that I mattered. That was the lie, the big one, the one that ate my life from the inside while I smiled and passed the biscuits. Because here is what I didn't understand. Need is not love. Need is a transaction. Need is what happens when someone has a problem and you have the solution. The moment you stop being the solution, you stop being the someone they call. And they won't tell you. That's the cruel part. There is no announcement, no fight, no final conversation where someone says, "I was only here for what you could give me." They just stop showing up, quietly, like smoke leaving a room. And now this kitchen smells like reheated soup for one. The phone sits on the counter so silent it might as well be a brick. Indispensable became invisible. Just like that. But I didn't learn this lesson slowly. No. Life doesn't teach you gently when you've been ignoring the signs for decades. Life sits you down and breaks your chest open with one single afternoon. My 85th birthday. I want you to picture this. I spent 3 days getting ready. 3 days. I got down on my hands and knees and cleaned the kitchen floor. 85 years old, and I'm on my knees scrubbing tile because I wanted this place to look right. I pulled out the good plates, the ones with the thin gold rim my wife and I bought 40 years ago that we only used for holidays. I washed every single one by hand, dried them with a cloth, not a towel, set them around the table, 8 place settings, 8 chairs. I bought a cake from the bakery downtown, chocolate, because most everyone who used to come liked chocolate. I had the woman write "Happy 85th" in white icing. I set it in the center of the table like a centerpiece. Then I called people, not that week, before that. I called them 10 days out, gave everyone plenty of time. I called Frank, who I'd known since we were 26 years old. I called my neighbor David, who I'd driven to his chemotherapy appointments for an entire year. I called Linda and Ray, a couple I'd lent close to $4,000 to when they nearly lost their house. Never saw a dime of it back. Never once asked. I called my cousin's son, who I helped get his first job. I called 5 or 6 others, people who had sat at this very table dozens of times, people who had eaten my food, drunk my coffee, cried on my couch, borrowed my tools and my time and my energy for years. Every one of them said the same thing. "I'll try to make it." That should have told me everything. Not "I'll be there," not "wouldn't miss it," just "I'll try." But I didn't hear it. I didn't want to hear it. The day came, a Saturday. I brewed a full pot of coffee around noon. The smell filled the whole kitchen, rich, warm, the kind of smell that's supposed to welcome people home. I put out cream and sugar. I set out a small plate of cookies beside the cake. I turned on the porch light even though it was the middle of the day because I wanted people to feel invited the second they walked up. Then I sat down and I waited. The clock on the wall has this tick that you never notice when the house is full of people. But when you're alone, that tick is deafening. It marks every second, every empty second. I heard it that afternoon like I'd never heard it before. Tick, tick, tick. Each one landing on my chest like a small stone. 1 o'clock came. Nobody. I told myself they were running late. People run late. It happens. 1:30. The coffee started to cool. I could smell it shifting from fresh to stale, that bitter edge creeping in. 2 o'clock. I stood up and looked out the window. The street was empty. No cars pulling up, no doors closing. Just a neighbor's dog walking across the yard like any other afternoon. Like nothing important was happening inside this house. 2:30. I sat back down. My hands were on the table, just resting there, palms down. I stared at the chair at the corner. That chair. The one right there. That was Frank's chair. Had been for 30 years. Every Sunday, every holiday, every birthday. Frank sat right there. And it was empty. Not just empty, untouched, cold, like it had never known anyone at all. 3 o'clock. Nobody came. Not one person. I sat in that kitchen with 8 clean plates, a full pot of cold coffee, and a chocolate cake that no one would ever eat. And the silence in that room taught me something that 91 years of living hadn't. I wasn't mourning the fact that nobody showed up. That wasn't it. I was mourning something worse. I was mourning the illusion that they ever truly showed up at all. The bodies had been there, sure, but the love? The real, no strings, I'm here because you matter love? I had been setting a table for ghosts for decades and calling it family. That was 6 years ago. I'm still here, still breathing, still setting this table for 2, like a man who refuses to read the last page of his own story. Every evening I lay out the fork, the knife, the napkin, the glass, 2 settings, one for me, one for the chair. And I don't know if I do it out of hope or habit or just plain stubbornness. Maybe it's because the day I set this table for 1 is the day I make this thing official. The emptiness, the verdict, the truth I've been circling for 6 years, like a man afraid to sit in his own courtroom. This kitchen gets quiet in ways I can't explain to you. You've probably never sat in a room where the only sounds are the hum of a refrigerator and the rhythm of your own breathing, where you can hear yourself blink, where evening comes and the light fades, and nobody reaches for the lamp because nobody cares if the room goes dark. I sit here some nights and I go through the faces, one by one. I think about David, who I drove to chemo every Thursday for 13 months. I think about the exact Thursday he stopped calling after he got better. I think about Linda and Ray and the $4,000 and how they moved to another state and changed their phone number. I think about Frank, my oldest friend, the man who sat in that very chair, the man who didn't come to my 85th birthday and never once called to say why. No fight, no falling out, no last words, just silence, just fading, like I was a season that passed and nobody marked the change on a calendar. That chair doesn't mock me with cruelty. I want you to understand that. It mocks me with clarity. It sits there every night, honest and still, showing me what I refused to see when the kitchen was loud and full and warm. Half the people at my table were never really sitting there. Their bodies were present, but their loyalty had conditions. Their love had an expiration date, and that date was the day I had nothing left to offer. The chair knows this. The chair has always known this. Now I'm talking to you. You, right there, scrolling, half listening, maybe eating something, maybe lying in bed with the screen 6 inches from your face. Stop. I need you to hear an old man who has made the one mistake you cannot afford to make. Stop counting how many people show up for you. That number means nothing. Start asking a different question, a harder one. Who would still show up if you had absolutely nothing to offer? If you couldn't fix anything? If you couldn't pay for anything? If you stopped organizing, stopped calling, stopped being the one who holds it all together? Who would come to your table then? Try it, quietly. Don't announce it. Don't make it a test anyone can see. Just step back. Stop reaching out first. Stop being the solution for a month. And watch. Watch who calls. Watch who checks in. Watch who notices you went quiet. The ones who show up without being summoned, without needing something, without an agenda. Those are your people. Those are the ones who love you and not your usefulness. Set your table for them. Give them the good plates. Pour them the coffee while it's still hot. And sit across from them with your full attention. Not distracted. Not performing. Not keeping score. Just there. Present. Real. Do it tonight. Pull out the chair across from someone who actually loves you and sit in it. Look them in the eye. Tell them they matter. Because I promise you, there will come a day when the house gets quiet and the phone stops ringing and the evening light fades, and you will look across your table at an empty chair and wish to God you had one more Sunday dinner with someone who truly gave a damn. Don't wait until the chair answers you back.